everyone, welcome back to An Artist Travels. My name is Nikki and today I'm going to be answering questions all about my memoir. Hey. This is gonna drop. A while ago, I don't know how many months ago, but it feels like a long time ago, I posted a video announcing that I had written a memoir, and I kind of just spoke about it. I spoke about what it was about. For anyone who hasn't watched the video, click in the box down below, I'll link it, but just to give you a quick overview, it's about how God healed me from an eating disorder and various other mental health things as well. That's what the memoir is about. It's my story of illness to healing. I was kind of vague in the video. I kind of just told you what it was about and said I was really excited and that it was coming out soon. I'm here to answer a Q&A that hopefully will give you details but will also be somewhat vague as well. Subscribe. So I have questions on my phone. Where's my phone? Well, I just had the phone. How is it all the way over there? Thank you so much for everyone who did, and I'm going to answer them now. This is a combination of questions that people have asked me, either on YouTube when I asked or whenever I talk about the memoir, people just ask me. Number one, what inspired you to write this book? What inspired me to write this book? Okay, a couple of different things. Firstly, I spoke about it in the last video. So I'm a Christian. I generally feel like if you're subscribed to my channel, you know this by now, because I feel like I say this in like every 4th, 5th video. I'm like, just so y'all know, I'm a Christian. Now let me explain everything. gotta give you like the background, you know, the context. So yeah, so God told me to write the book, and does that count as inspiration? There you go. He said write the book, and who am I to disobey? No one. So I wrote the book. The second thing is my heart for people. I just feel like it's a story that I think people who are struggling need to hear, because it's a story of hope and healing, and we need hope. I know I needed hope back then. It's that thing of wanting to help people because you know what it's like to go through it. So it's basically, if my experience can help other people, yes, I'm excited. I just wanted to tell the story, and the best platform in which it made sense to tell the story in its entirety was a book. So that's what inspired me to write it. Number two, have you always wanted to be a writer? So this is more of like a general one. Yes. Yes. When I was a kid, all I said all the time was, I want to be a writer, I want to be a writer. In fact, I was like, I'm gonna be a writer, and I am a writer. So you know what? Declare it, believe it in God's name, and you shall receive it. What's the verse? Believe it and you shall receive it. There you go. Believe it and you shall receive it in Jesus' name. So yeah, I just said it all the time, and it was the first thing I ever wanted to be, and yeah, and then acting came afterwards, but shortly afterwards. I think the earliest time I can remember wanting to be a writer, I remember writing a short story for class when I was in year 1, reception? No, year 1. And I loved it. And I was so proud because I got a special sticker, and I was like, I'm a writer. I'm a writer. I want to be a writer. I've got some really fun like childhood stories about my writing. In fact, I found one of the stories I wrote when I was a kid, and I was having a good laugh the other day, and I was thinking of reading it out to you guys in a future video. But yes, always wanted to be a writer. I got into reading first, and then I realised I wanted to be a writer. So from Enid Blyton books, I was obsessed with them as a kid, and I think it was from those books that made me want to, like, planted that seed of wanting to tell stories. So yes, in short, always wanted to be a writer. And now I'm a full-time writer, actress and teacher, so that is incredible, and God is good. Look how God works, like, yeah. Number 3, what is the title of the memoir? I'm gonna keep it a secret for now. I will tell you that it is 6 words long. Yes, I was gonna say letters and I was like, that's not right. Oh, it's 7 words long. So I'll reveal it soon. I love it. Okay, so this question is from my friend. These next couple of questions are from my friend over at A Screenwriter's Journey. If you haven't followed her, follow her. She makes really cool videos here on AuthorTube. So she says, did you start writing the memoir during your illness? No. No, no. I could not have. There, how do I put, this is how you know it's God. There was no way in heck it was my intention to write a book. It was never. I mean, when I was ill, the furthest thing from my mind was writing a book about that experience. It was such a shameful experience. Like, not that I had anything to be ashamed. Like, for me, I felt so ashamed that there's no way. There was no way I was going to tell people I didn't know in a book. No way. No way. I barely communicated it to people I did know. So that was not a thing. I never, like, if someone had told me at that point, one day you will write a book about this experience, genuinely, I would have laughed in their face. I would have been like, I don't know, what? I would have laughed. There's no way. There's nothing I want to do less. I couldn't even fathom to think about writing a book because I didn't know I was going to come out of it. I genuinely felt so hopeless that I didn't think I was coming out of it. So how could I write a book? I did not know. No. No. No, next question. The next question is, how can we purchase it? Thank you. Look, doing the marketing for me. See, these are the questions that I need to be asked because sometimes I'm so chill that I'm like, la 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 la, and it's like, actually talk about the important things as well, like how people can buy it. So it's not up for sale yet, but I will let you know when it will be. It will be quite soon, and you'll be able to publish it in paperback. Wow. Amazon. I'll be publishing it via Amazon. So yes, you'll be able to purchase it on Amazon and also on Amazon KDP, which is their Kindle printing service. So that means you can purchase it either as an ebook or in paperback. Yes. So yes, whichever one you prefer, or both if you would love to. That would be great too. Do that if you want. So paperback, ebook, Amazon. That's the answer to your question. Leading on from that, I'm actually going to skip. To Lilith. Hello, hey girl. She says, I kind of repurposed your comment into a question. The comment was, please make an audiobook, and I've repurposed it into a question of, will there be an audiobook? Thank you so much for commenting that, because I had not even crossed my mind to make an audiobook. And when he said that, I was like, maybe. So the answer to this question right now is, I can't say this is an audiobook and this is when it's going to be released, but my answer is that I'm considering it and I am more for it than against it. As it's a memoir, I guess I would be narrating it. So I'm kind of down for that. Basically, when I get around to it, there should be an audiobook at some point. Next question. I don't know what number we're on anymore. What did you learn when writing the book? So much. I've learned so much. I really love psychology anyway. This book allowed me to research deeper into theories in psychology. So yeah, so it made me research a lot of theories and I learned lots of new things, and it was really eye-opening. It was beautiful, and I was able to look at the lens of my experience through, you know, perhaps a psychiatrist or something, and just look at the theories and the yeah, especially like childhood developmental theories and that kind of stuff, where I was like, oh, yeah, this all ties in together. It was really fascinating. Loved it. What else have I learned? I feel I have learned as a writer to listen to God before I'm writing, particularly for this memoir, because I feel like at the end of the day, this is his story, not my story. So I was very deliberate in terms of like praying and listening to God's what God wanted me to say before I wrote. So that was really cool. So I guess I've learned to humble myself in writing, which was nice. I've learned loads of things, and then like practical things, such as working with a cover designer. I hadn't done that before for my own book, which is really exciting. I've learned how to, guys, I've learned how to write a memoir. I've learned what memoir is, okay? Super basic. It sounds basic. I clearly did not know what it was to write a memoir, and now I know. So there you go. A memoir is an art form. It's beautiful, and I'll link my other video talking about what I've learned, because I made a whole video about this, about what I've learned in this memoir writing process, and you will see the way I'm so shook to finally figure out how to write a memoir. Because it's not what I thought it was, and I much prefer what it actually is. This is why you listen to people and research and learn more information. Yeah, cool. Next question. Oh, I really like this question, okay? So this is when I found an article and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So it says, how do you balance making demands on the reader with taking care of the reader? I think this might have been for a fiction writer. I can't remember the context of this question, but I thought it was a very interesting question for this memoir, because for this memoir, it's all about mental health. I want to take care of the reader because I'm aware that people reading might be going through a difficult time. They might not be, you know, but, you know, some people I believe will be, specifically in those areas. And so I really want to take care of the reader, and the way in which I've done that is really to think very hard and long about what to include, what not to include. I've prayed about it, and also I will be sending it to readers who have been through that experience, just to make sure it's not triggering. But also in terms of like balancing making demands of the reader, there are things that will need to be included, but I will include them sensitively, and I guess that's how I balance it. And again, as I said, I'm going to let people read it. I take my time to think about it. I pray about it, which I think is like the key thing, like honestly like the most important thing. I'll do that first, and then I'll send it out to people, and then I'll edit it. I think it's being open to my beta readers' feedback. It is thinking about, I think I put myself in those people's shoes. I think back to how I was, and I think what would I have needed from a book and what would have been triggering from a book, and then I've acted and written accordingly. There are things sometimes that I want to write that I don't write because I'm like, the last thing I want to do is trigger someone. I was having this conversation with my friend, literally, was it yesterday? Yeah, I understand why people include certain things when they're talking about their eating disorders in a memoir, but for me I was like, no. That was always a thing from the get-go. I was like, never do I want to specify so many things in writing this, because I do not want to write anything triggering. And that was actually something that scared me about writing this book. When God first said, like, write this book, I was like, I don't want to trigger anyone. I don't ever want to talk about it, ever. Even fiction books I find triggering. I don't find triggering personally now, but back then would have been. So for me, I'm like, no way, Jose. Sorry, I'm just like preaching to the choir. And then moving on from that, what did you edit out of this book? Anything that I thought was too triggering, edited. Gone. Next question. Oh, this one's kind of touching it. Do you view writing as a kind of spiritual practice? Yes and no. As in, I don't view writing as like a cathartic, meditative, therapeutic, spiritual practice in those veins, even though I guess it kind of is. But I tend not to very often. But as I spoke before about my faith, yes, in terms of, I think writing is a divine act, because I think creation is a divine act. I do believe that creativity was created by God and for God. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I guess in that way it is, but it's not like at the forefront of my mind, like this is a spiritual practice. Maybe it should be. I would quite like to do that, but currently, right now, not yet there. There are ways to go and grow. How did you work through the emotions on the page? Oh, I cried. I just cried. I love how long it took me to go, like, what did I do? I didn't do anything special. I just cried, and I looked after myself, and if I was writing too much and then I was like, oh, today doesn't feel like a particularly good day, then I just didn't work on the memoir. That was it. Just looked after myself. Work through the emotions on the page. Is that what it means? Like, how do I look after myself? There weren't many, that sounds like there weren't many emotions. I'm writing about something that isn't particularly personally upsetting to me now. So when I need to cry, I need to cry. Yeah, so nothing too major there. I'm really trying to think of a more interesting answer, but I don't think there is. I think I just wrote it. Great content. 10 out of 10. Subscribe. And the final question, number 12. Did the book make you like the subject more or less? I guess here the subject of mental health. I think it made me like it more. I think probably before writing this I was probably less enthused to talk about it. I was very enthused to talk about it immediately while I was going through it, immediately after I was healed, and then I think when you're struggling with something you think about it a lot. And then I stopped thinking about it for a long time. Didn't really talk about it much, and I think that's not, I think there's even a danger of getting too distanced from something, where you're like, I'm fine now. Do you know what I mean? There's a danger of being too distanced from something, I think, because there is the potential, if you're not careful, to lose empathy. And I think writing this book has made me fall in love with talking about mental health, and almost made me, obviously I knew, but realize how important it is to talk about mental health, because going back to all the memories of like all the times I didn't talk about it, and all the times that I, like, literally it was exacerbated because it was growing in secret. Like, I feel like eating disorders magnify and worsen in secret, just like germs do in warmth, you know, that's their optimum condition in which to just get worse, the secrecy around it, you know, and not talking about it. So I think writing this book has made me so even more like passionate about the topic, and yeah, I'm like so down to talk about it. So yes, it's made me more interested, which is good. Those are all the answers to the questions. I hope this was interesting to you. Once again, my name is Nikki. Thank you so much for coming on to this channel. If you're a subscriber, hey, what up? Thank you. And if you are not a subscriber, please do subscribe, hit the like button, and check out my channel for more videos. I make fun videos and content, and check out the videos in the description box about me talking about this memoir process. Have a good day, y'all. Have a good day. See y'all later.